Hello, guys. Welcome to a brand new episode of Football or Nothing. Thank you so much for being a very loyal fan. We really do appreciate you. We've got a lot of eye followers on YouTube. We see what you're doing. You guys really mean a lot to us. And like I would always say, if you put all the first words of this, all the first letters of each word together, you get FON. Pronounce everything together, it is fun. And on fun, we are here to have fun. And we'll be having fun with a lot of insightful topics today. Liverpool had a slender victory at Selhurst Park over the weekend. We'll be talking about that. And of course, Arsenal, they needed Southampton to score them so that they would respond. And they did respond perfectly. Kai Havertz did justice, and Bukayo Saka was magnificent as well. And of course, Manchester United, Erik Ten Hag's job was under fire. But in some ways, Unai Emery, Aston Villa saved Erik Ten Hag. We'll be discussing about that. And of course, the Hansi Flick boys, they keep on destroying everybody, both home and abroad in the Spanish La Liga. We'll talk about that. And of course, we need to talk about the German Bundesliga. The Bayern Munich is now 3 games without a victory for them. Vincent Company is now in doubt in the Bayern Munich dugout. So we'll be talking about that. So I want you to stick around. We have a lot of topics to cover on this particular show. And I'll not be doing all of this alone. My name is Kenny, your favorite host on Football or Nothing. And I'm live in the studio with A-Trip, the only man who doesn't want Lewandowski in the team anymore last season. But right now, I think he has a second thought about Lewandowski. And of course, H2O is in the building as well, always having an headache about Erik Ten Hag.
I'm fine actually.
I think we need to start with that, your Erik Ten Hag. It was a nil-nil draw at Villa Park over the weekend. Right now, would you say Manchester United should call it a day for Erik Ten Hag?
Um, as regards to Manchester United, I feel like we've gotten to that point where we are seeing no reason why we are keeping the manager. In as much as every other factor is always involved. Yes, maybe we don't want to sign a new manager whereby in the second season or third season we already know our players. We are going to go back to that point where we start asking again who is the next manager that will solve it for us. But the issue now is that you look at our squad. I think on when we played on Sunday and I saw the starting lineup, I think I was on bed. I opened my X account and I checked the lineup for the day. I saw Evans, Maguire, Ericsson, Bruno, Mino. Don't get me wrong, they are players, of course, they are part of the squad. But then again, seeing those set of players, knowing fully well, we signed defenders, we signed striker, we signed Ugarte. I don't care whether he's ready or he's not ready. That is not the point here. And that's something, if we have a lot of weakness, we should learn how to mask our weakness. A match where Evans is taking home man of the match performance shows you a lot of things that is wrong with the team. Mentality wise, in terms of the coach, the players, every single thing is wrong with Manchester United. So you look at that match, I saw the way Evans was playing, and I start having different thoughts about all the players in our squad. And that is one thing I keep saying. I have issues when players can't do their basic jobs. I know there's always shortcomings with the manager. I know there is the part where we have to blame the manager. But can you just do your job first and let us know what is wrong with the team? But seeing so well, and I think I've mentioned it on this, but anytime I see Rashford and Garnacho as the starting lineup, immediately I have problem with that starting lineup. It's not because I don't want those two to be on the pitch at the same time. I want them to battle together for their places. That way the team know what they are doing. So in terms of Erik Ten Hag, I feel like you can see when we played this Aston Villa, I was expecting Aston Villa to do something. I mean, I was even surprised that we were able to come up with 0-0. Even that 0-0, Aston Villa were not even convincing. So I'm like, so there is that part where we started the season, our play was very good, was very okay, different from last season. But then we got to a point where there was no goal or the likes. Then we reverted back to that same let's just try to find a win in the match. And that started causing problems in the team again. Now Ugarte is not in the team. The lead, yeah, he said his rotation or the likes. Man, City is playing, Arsenal is playing, everybody is playing. If you are talking about rotation, you don't rotate a team that is not even stable. And you complained about injuries the previous year, complained about unavailability of players the previous year. Yeah, I understand you have to rotate players. But then again, is the international break up next? It's not like as if they are playing a match up next. So the thing about Ten Hag is I feel like we are getting to that point and there is a lot of negativity around the game. So I feel what in accordance to the fans is what can help them at this moment is that probably if they sack the manager, but me as a person, I know what the man wants to do. I see the vision he wants to do, but he himself is responsible for his own failure.
Okay.
So that's just what I say about Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United.
Okay, A-Trip, he said a lot of negativity surrounding the club right now. The former assistant manager to Erik Ten Hag, Benny McCarthy said, and I quote, he said Erik Ten Hag is good tactically, but he lacks the passion to drive his players. Do you think these players are losing trust in the manager? Because when you're not winning, obviously you get demoralized. Do you think they still trust Eric Ten Hag? It's written in clear HG that the players are losing interest in Eric Ten Hag. They don't trust him that he is the one to take them to the promised land. Because I've seen a lot on social media whereby a lot of Manchester United fan. I'm not a Manchester United fan. A lot of Manchester United fan keeps complaining about how well the players are losing interest. We have the likes of we have some players in Manchester United whereby Manchester United is right there on their shoulders, and the way they are playing now, we can see is really depreciating. And one thing about the team is that if a manager doesn't have the winning mentality, a manager doesn't feel wrong about things that are going on in the team, like what Erik Ten Hag do say yesterday after the match, he said something. He said he's really satisfied with the performance that they actually got a clean sheet and it was a draw. And with what he said, we are seeing Erik Ten Hag as somebody that has not yet been successful in Manchester United. But deep inside him, he has his own catalog of success. He believes he's successful and is moving the team forward. Because he can say it. He said it. He said in 2 years, they won two trophies. He kept saying it over and over again. So what does that mean? And he always say it in his word. He said if they open the door, if they actually let him go, he will go somewhere else
And win trophies.
and win trophies.
That's what he does.
I don't expect a manager that his team is declining right now to say that kind of statement. It's a kind of statement that can demotivate the players and the teammates that okay, that means you don't care about the result, about anything that is going on. Yesterday I watched the match. A lot of Escos, a lot of Manchester United Escos were on the stand. They were watching crystal clear. The likes of Jim Ratcliffe, the likes of
Omar Berardi.
Alex Ferguson was also in the stand. And I'm very happy they actually saw everything that is going on. Manchester United, for crying out loud, Manchester United is a big team. One of the biggest team in the world, if not one of the top five biggest team in the world. So for you to see a team like that declining, and you that you are the manager, you are in charge of this team, you deep inside you don't think the team is declining. You think the team they are really trying their best because every time Erik Ten Hag talks, it's like, oh, the team is trying their best. The team is not declining. To him, that's how it feels.
So he's not. He doesn't have that motivation. He doesn't have that. He's not courageous enough to be the Manchester United manager.
He doesn't have the zeal. He doesn't have the mind. I'm sorry to say, he doesn't have the balls to be a Manchester United manager. He should, he needs more experience. From a lot of things is attached to being a manager. It's not about what your players can offer on the field. It requires, the way you speak to your players, the way you can calm your players down in downtime, because we all know football is about win or lose. You can't always expect to win all the time. That's why we can't blame him much. Because in as well as we can blame Erik Ten Hag, we should also blame the caliber of players he has. So you signing players, and at the end of the day, they are not useful for you, and you don't see it as something bad. I think they should show him the door at the end of the day.
Okay. If we are going to be speaking about a manager who is under fire, I think we need to talk about a manager who keeps on defying the odds, and that is Mikel Arteta.
This man, I think after Pep Guardiola right now in the English Premier League, a lot of people will agree when we say Mikel Arteta is right there on the list, is next on the list after you name Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola. Not in terms of being successful, we have managers who have won more trophies than Mikel Arteta,
Of
but
course.
what he has done to this Arsenal side, bringing them back from doom to I think right now to boom right now. So because when he got the Arsenal job, it raised a lot of eyebrows. Why are you bringing him in? And he was under fire for some months. If a lot of Arsenal fans wanted his head, they wanted him out of the job. But right now, I think everybody wants. He has fully settled into the team, and he has made them turn into team that they are going into the team a match playing a small team. Well, all respect to all these so-called small teams, but they are smaller teams compared to Arsenal. Back in those days when Arsenal want to play a small team, you'll be scared as an Arsenal fan. Yes. But right now, you know that this is a 3 points in the bag. So they played a Southampton side who are just coming back into the Premier League, and they needed Southampton to score them before they bounce back into life. There's a talking point in the game. Bukayo Saka. Prior to that game, Jamie O'Hara accused Bukayo Saka that Saka is not a world class. He said Lamine Yamal is a world class player, Cole Palmer is a world class player, but Bukayo Saka is not a world class player. And in the absence of Martin Odegaard, Captain Bukayo Saka has stepped up to the big occasion. He gave a wonderful assist to I think who scored the first goal. I forgot the guy who scored the first goal. He gave a wonderful assist, and okay, it was Gabriel Martinelli that scored the first goal, and he scored himself the third goal as well. Would you say that Saka is not world class in Jamie O'Hara's word? Is Saka a world class player or not?
Yeah, I saw the text of Jamie O'Hara saying Saka is not a world class player. For me, either Yamal, either is Cole Palmer, either is Saka, they are still not world class players to me. They are
Wow.
not world class players to me. I don't know what how will I call it? What yardstick
So
they are using.
say that again. Saka is not a world class player.
Saka, Yamal, and Cole Palmer, they are not world class players to me.
Wow.
So I don't know what yardstick you guys use for world class players. There are levels to football. Do you understand? Saka has been doing wonderfully. Saka is a top player to me. I can put him in that category. A very top player, one of the excellent players we've had in the past 3 seasons. But there's always an icing on the cake that gives you that edge as a world class player. Saka is in the top 30. That's why I say he's a top player for me. But calling someone world class, we've gotten to a point in football where we can just throw around world class players to anybody anywhere. Same goes for Kupama, same goes for Lamine Yamal. Yamal is a world class talent. You can say that because obviously he's young and the likes. But calling someone world class player, there is a lot of yardstick you have to put on that. Saka has been doing wonderfully well for Arsenal in the past 3 seasons.
But Saka is the type of he has been consistent.
Saka is the type of player I also love very, very much. But placing that name, a world class player, on Saka is kind of like very, very shady in my own terms. Do you understand? I understand he's a top player, he's an excellent player. There are a lot of players. It's just like I think in the last we mentioned something as regards to who is the best right winger in the world right now, where people started bringing Yamal in comparison with Saka. Do you understand? But then again, it doesn't mean I'll call Yamal a world class player. I'm not in that category to call Yamal a world class player. If you ask me for world class player, I look at what you've done for your team. I look at the achievements you've done for your team. That's why I said I need that icing on the cake for Saka.
So you agree 100% with Jimmy O'Hara.
I agree with the statement that he's not a world class player, but at the same time, his statement that Yamal and Cole Palmer are world class players compared to Saka, no, they are in that same category. Even Yamal, I can't really put him in comparison with Cole Palmer and what's the name? Bukayo Saka yet, because I feel like those guys have been in the game at least. Palmer in the last season, Yamal, I think he started last season and the Euros used it to top it up. But me saying they are world class players, I know the kind of names I've put into that world class player category. And for me, yeah, I don't think I want to call Saka a world class. In as much as
You
I want to call him a world class player, but I need that icing on the cake for him.
Okay,
So that I can tell
do
it.
you agree with H2O? Is Saka a world class player?
Honestly speaking, I don't agree with H2O. I think the likes of Jimmy Oria and the likes of H2O, I will put them in the same category. I think it's they are saying that in an aspect of being biased or being an opposition. When sometimes we are all football lovers. Sometimes when people are not talking about your team, you tend to disagree with people's opinion. You tend to disagree with people's opinion. The likes of Yamal, I won't say because I'm a Barcelona player, we can't put Yamal in the class of being a world class player yet. He's just coming up. I said it, I once said it that we should reduce the hype and we should leave this boy to enjoy his playing days. He still has a long way to go. You putting a lot on his shoulder at that age is really delicate. And two, the likes of Saka and Kopama, you saying Saka is not a world class player, I think you are missing it because we all know when Saka got to Arsenal, when he came out, he has been in Arsenal. When he came out, his contribution to the team. When we talk about world class player, like H2O said, my own definition of world class player is someone that has performed, that has helped the team. Individually, he has done things in the team that has brought the team back in a lot of places. Let's assume, with what I said just now, let's look at Kopama, for example. Since when Kopama joined Chelsea, we've seen how well he has helped Chelsea. A lot of time, Chelsea has been down. I can say it authoritatively, the only player they have in Chelsea right now is Kopama and others.
Yeah.
So, what are we saying? How can you tell me that someone that can single-handedly put a team on his shoulder, how can you tell me that kind of player is not a world-class player? One of the reasons we have a lot of players in the past, we comparing them, putting them in the class that they are world-class player, is how well they have delivered for their team. The likes of Lionel Messi, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo.
So what has Saka delivered for his team?
And bro, what I'm trying to say is,
What has he delivered for his team? Because when I was saying it, I said one of the reasons I need that icing on the cake for Saka to call him a world class. England, Arsenal. You're only talking about performance. I can mention a lot of players that are giving that same performance. I would ask you now: is Bruno Fernandes a world class player?
Bruno Fernandes is a world class player.
Just answer the question: is he a world class player? I know you will say no. That's what I'm asking you.
No, I never said no. Bruno Fernandes is a world class player.
So
his contribution to the team, we all know Manchester United can be down, but
as a player, a world class, you said what he has done. You need a player to win a trophy. To me, that's the icing on the cake for his team.
Let me ask you a question. We have countless players in England. For the past 2 seasons now, this guy has been the player of the year for both Arsenal and the England national team. And we have a lot of fine players in England. We have the likes of Harry Kane, we have the likes of Declan Rice, we have the likes of Jack Grealish, Jude Bellingham. And you are telling me this guy is not a world-class player. See, Arsenal as a team, the way people look at Arsenal outside, it was when Arteta came that people started looking at Arsenal that, okay, this team can be up there, this team can be up here. It's not easy for a player to come out of that team. I'm telling you. I made a statement. One person was comparing Rodrigo to Saka. I'm not saying.
So Rodrigo is not a world class player.
Rodrigo is not a world class player.
So what you are saying is Saka is a world class player? What's your metric I want to use?
Let me give you some qualities of a world class player. A player that starts from the bench doesn't have the balls.
Okay, you have to. Okay.
You are starting from the bench.
Okay.
For me to call you a world class player.
All right.
For me to call you a world class player, you must be a regular starter.
Okay.
When you are there, your impact must be felt.
Okay.
When the team is down, you must be able to deliver. In one way or the other, there must be an instance whereby you deliver the team single-handedly. This guy has delivered in Arsenal. He has delivered in England. Okay, for someone to it's not
all this delivery has not turned to something substantial for his team.
No.
Every other player are also putting in those kind of performance.
Okay, actually, let me ask you one thing. The fact that Steven Gerrard didn't win a Premier League title, would you say Steven Gerrard is not
It's
a
not a
Premier League?
world-class
Is not a
player.
Premier League
You are
legend?
using a Premier League title does not mean he did not win any other trophy. I'm telling you, I need an icing on the cake. What has Saka won?
Saka has won trophies too now.
Which trophies?
I think he has
You are saying I think. Tell me specifically.
Community Shield, he has the FA Cup
Yes,
as
he has a
well.
trophy.
He has the FA Cup, he has the Community Shield.
See,
Bro,
I already mentioned what I want to
You know
mention.
what? You know what? When it comes to trophy, I know you might want to belittle the guy. But
I'm not belittling
I want
Saka.
to know something today. The main reason people don't give Saka his flowers or why they don't give him his respect is because he simply plays for Arsenal. I will keep saying it.
Then what is that's what I like what you say now. I like what you say now. Now, what is particular about Arsenal for them not to rate him? They don't rate your team. Do you know why they don't rate your
Arsenal is a team compared to Manchester United.
Oh,
We
no.
play for Manchester United.
Oh my
We
goodness.
all know
If
that
you place
team.
your Manchester United in this situation we are in, you are telling me I'll call him a world class player.
How are you so sure if Saka is Manchester United? You guys.
Arsenal has been performing so well for the past how many seasons? Yes or no? Yes.
So if we are going to go by H2O's words, there is no single world class player at Manchester United.
Are you blaming Arsenal bottling the trophy? Are you blaming on this guy?
I'm not blaming it. Can't you understand what I'm saying? You guys are trying to put in my mouth. I said, as for me, he can be a world class player to you. I don't care. As for me, I need an icing on the cake for Saka. For me to put him in that category.
What I'm trying to say is that it should be a collective statement to everyone. Saka should be a world class player.
Okay, I love this right now. This is getting heated right now. If we are talking about those world class players, let's know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think Bukayo Saka is a world class
If you are using Saka, we can as well call majority of a lot of players world class players. That's it now. I can bring a lot of players for you and I'll start calling them world class just because they are performing for their team. They are in Saka's level.
Okay, let's leave that to the fans at home to judge.
Premier League is not the only football we are watching.
Drop it in the comment section. Do you think Saka is a world class player, or you think he's not a world class player going by H2O's word, or you agree with H3 that he is a world class player? Speaking about those world class players, let's talk about a world class goalie. Who I think both parties will agree with me when I call Alisson Becker a world class goalkeeper. Liverpool over the weekend, they got a tiny victory at Selhurst Park. In the second half, they were under pressure and they lost their goalie, Alisson Becker. You know, Liverpool are at the start of the season, few games into the season, people started saying, okay, Liverpool can actually challenge for the title with the way they are moving this season, with the way they are doing under and slow. They don't concede so many goals, they create lots of chances, they are scoring for fun and all of that. People started saying, okay, I think they can be in the mix for the title race come A. But right now, you are losing your first choice goalkeeper to a recurring hamstring injury. This is not the first time Alisson Becker is getting injured. I think it's one of those top goalkeepers that are very injury prone. Do you still think Liverpool can challenge for the title without Alisson Becker? They are going to lose him for some weeks now. Do you think that Liverpool, and right now, let me remind you guys, Liverpool are going into the most difficult period of their season because from November to December, it's all big games and no small games are even coming in. So do you think losing Alisson Becker at this stage of the season, is it going to be a big blow to Liverpool, or they are going to have Komikelia, who is going to save them just as he has always been doing over the years when Alisson is injured?
I feel like one of the most important thing about teams that compete for the title is that depth, and at the same time that fact that whenever we lose a player, because there are always we have to assess the risk over the course of the season. There is no reason why there's always a possibility that we'll lose a player, and it can be anybody at any point in time. So what determines how well a team carries themselves is that depth, and at the same time how well other players in the team respond. As at last season, I think I got to know Kelia as at last season, and one thing that was so crucial for me in terms of Liverpool was Kelia himself. I felt like in as much as Alisson was not around, in terms of the kind of ability he possesses on ball, off ball with Kelia has done well enough for him to be in that position to fill in the shoes of Alisson, pending the time he returns from. And I think Alisson just returned, I think it was this season, he returned this season because I think as at half of last season he was out
Yeah.
throughout the whole season. So I still feel like one thing about Liverpool is when I look at a team, I don't just look at a single player. And that's one of the issues I also have with my manager, which is Erik Ten Hag. I don't look at single player. I look at if I remove one player from the team, will this system continue? When we look at the team that has been winning the Premier League for the past 5, 6 seasons now, when you look at it, it's always if we remove one person from that team, the team will still play just as we expect them to play. So, in as much as Alisson would be a great miss in terms of the quality he possesses, he will miss a great in terms of the quality he possesses. I feel like Keller coming in, I think will fill in very well. In as much as it might not be like Alisson, but at least it will give the team what they want in terms of because I've been looking at what Ancelotti is trying to do. He's been trying to play the team in a way whereby I'm taking one person off, we are coming in, we are repeating that same strategy over and over again. And I feel like that is one thing that is very, very important to every team. Let us have a base, regardless of whoever comes
There
in.
must be a structure.
There must be a structure for us to see that as far as another person is coming, because there are cases where 3 people might be injured, we still want to see that our team can still do it regardless. And that has been the baseline for the teams like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, I think before Klopp left and like. So I still feel like Keller will be able to fit in to.
All right, thank you guys for sticking around so far. So good football or nothing show. We really appreciate you. If you have been enjoying the show, just like I have been enjoying the show, what I will do is I will just subscribe to the channel. If I were you right now, I'm doing that right now. I'm subscribing to the channel and tapping the bell notification icon. Remember, when you do that, you'll be notified about anything we drop on the page as well. So keep sticking around. We still have a lot of interesting topics to discuss on this show. Make sure you stick around to the very end. Thank you. Let's go back. So, Erik, how do you think Liverpool can cope going into this busy run of fixtures? With what you have seen so far at the start of the season with Liverpool, do you think they will survive this huge difficult run of fixtures coming on for them, or people are just trying to blow it out of proportion? It will just be normal day in office for Liverpool.
Sometimes I feel pity for Kelleher in particular. Like you said, Kelleher is a very underrated goalkeeper. I always say it countless times when I watch Liverpool play, when Kelleher is always on the goalpost. I keep saying it that this guy needs to leave. He needs to go somewhere else. He deserves the starting lineup. He deserves the first place rather than sitting on the bench and being the second goalkeeper. We all know. And I'm very certain a lot of Liverpool fans will surely agree with me when I say it that Keller is one of the few second choice goalkeeper you can have in the team in the world of football right now. Because there is no difference of you having Keller as a second keeper than you having your first keeper. A lot of first choice keeper in other teams, they will be on the bench for Keller when he is in their team because he is always spot on, and anytime Liverpool needs his attention, he is always there to rescue the team and everything.
So Liverpool will survive this busy run of fixtures.
I don't think goalkeeping department will be an issue for Liverpool going forward. The other departments might be an issue, but when it comes to goalkeeping, I've seen Keller a lot of time in the goal post, and he is always spot on, less mistake. He doesn't even make much of mistakes. Any mistakes that come is always from the defending team, and I will always keep saying it over and over again on and off camera. Keller is an underrated goalkeeper. He needs to go to a better team to see, to have a better opportunity. Even though, like it was being said, the new keeper that Liverpool are about to bring into the team, which is the Valencia goalkeeper, Mamajdavelli. I think it came to a point when I heard about the news, I was looking like, wow, why can't Liverpool just promote this guy to as the first team goalkeeper and bring another keeper in to be the second choice? Because any football fan can bear me witness of what I'm saying. Keller is always on. He's always spot on. He's always spot on. And anytime Liverpool needs him, I don't think they will have issue going forward because I think the department is safe and secure.
Okay. Talking about those teams that have issues, there is Kylian Mbappe who is struggling right now. They played the game against Villarreal, and they needed this guy, the injured Vinicius Junior, right now to save the day for them. And thunderous strike from Federico Valverde. Would you say that Kylian Mbappe is just a Ligue 1 level player? He's just a French league level player. He's struggling at Real Madrid. Is it just that he cannot cope in Spain, or he's just a French league level player? We are just overhyping what is not.
There are some players you don't how will I call it? You don't make that kind of claim against. So someone like Kylian Mbappe, putting him as probably is just a League One player, might just come back to haunt you in a very, very bad way. In the long run. So, because he has been struggling a lot, no doubt about that. He has been struggling a lot, and this was one of the issue I had when they wanted to sign him. I'm like, do they really see Kylian Mbappe as a point nine? Which is going to be an issue for me in the sense that Kylian Mbappe is also that type of player that loves to play from the left, regardless of how you try to put it. You can put him on anywhere you like on the pitch. There's a difference between I have the freedom to roam around the pitch and I have my position start is that I'm fixed that I'm starting from the left. When you look like a player like Eden Hazard, as an example, when he was at Chelsea, you notice that Eden Hazard is their left winger, but he's the playmaker. So he has the ability to roam around the pitch. He sees the pitch from his own wing before he starts moving to other pitch. But isolating an Eden Hazard in the middle of the park brings another issue entirely. It's not like he can't play it. He will play it, of course. It's one of the attributes of all these kind of players. So I feel like that chemistry is still needed for them to fully understand. And I think that's what Ancelotti is trying to do, trying to make Vini know that you don't have to be on that left wing all the time. And you see it over and over in their matches. Sometimes you see Mbappe there, Vini is at point nine. At the same time, another period you see them like this. Then you see Bellingham going in there. They are trying to see ways to work around it, which I think in the past few matches, I wouldn't really say it has been working, but at least it's still effective in terms of them winning matches. And one thing I noticed about Ancelotti is he's not always afraid to make the call. Because one thing he did in the past match was that before the past match, he already said, I don't think people actually knew that when Kamavinga returns, he needs to sacrifice one of their forwards for Kamavinga to come in. Not because of Kamavinga in particular, but because he wants to play four in midfield. Meaning Bellingham has to be on the pitch. That makes it four. Yeah. So if Bellingham is on the pitch, you still need three midfielders because you don't want Bellingham doing front in as much as that is his responsibility. Now you are seeing the formation coming as like the 4-4-2 diamond. So the players at the front have to work it out on this is how we move. But you eventually see Kabata is the one covering the whole of this pitch, while Valverde also comes in on time. It is only when you see Rodrigo on the pitch. So even when Rodrigo is on the pitch, you won't likely see him on that wing. So I feel like for a player like Kylian Mbappe, I feel he will still get into it. But then again, with the kind of structure Madrid has for now, and with the fact that there's a player like Vini in the team, which he is also not backing down in terms of how he plays and the likes. So I still feel, on the long run, I feel Mbappe will come around because there's that quality there. And regardless of how you might see him now, you still see that in those matches, he still brings one or two things, in as much as it is not as what we expect in terms of the Kylian Mbappe we know in Liga. But then again, Kylian Mbappe is Kylian Mbappe. We can't just overwrite him.
Right now that Vinicius Junior is injured right now, is that a blessing in disguise for Kylian Mbappe? Because just like HO said, Kylian Mbappe is a player who loves to come in from the wide area. That is his favorite position. We all know that. Not like a starting number nine, a fox in the box, and all of that. Is Vinicius Junior's injury, is it a blessing in disguise for Kylian Mbappe? Is this time for Kylian Mbappe to lock down that left wing of Real Madrid? When Vinicius Junior comes in, Ancelotti will just find a way to put in Vinicius back into the lineup.
What actually happened is that we can say is a blessing in disguise for Kylian Mbappe because we know what the left wing position, driving in from the left wing, cutting inside and trying to spin the ball to the top right corner has always been one of his priorities as Kylian Mbappe. But the issue we are having right now is that I spotted something in the Real Madrid squad. Hendrick coming into the team. If we want to have Kylian Mbappe on the left side and let's assume we have Rodrigo on the right side, we'll have somebody to be on the number 9 spot, which is Hendrick. But a lot of Real Madrid fan, and I've seen it a lot of time. Hendrick coming into the team, Don Carlo Ancelotti is not really satisfied with having Hendrick in the team. But with what is going on right now, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti will want to put Mbappe in that wing. And right now, the issue right now is that okay, let's assume Mbappe is on the wing. Who am I going to put in the 9? Because I don't think Carlo Ancelotti sees Hendrick as a player that is trustworthy to start for Real Madrid. He is a kind of player whereby when he comes into the game, he can make a little bit of difference. But starting Hendrick, he doesn't have this kind of full trust in Hendrick. Maybe he still see a little bit of this guy is still young and he needs a lot of time to get matured and get used to the way we play. But I'm very certain for one thing is that Mbappe has always delivered, and we all know what is stopping him right now at Madrid is because he's trying to adapt to a new position. Being on the left wing, we all know Mbappe won't let anybody down if he is on the left wing. But what Real Madrid are going to try to do right now is that we putting you on the left wing is not going to help you right now because you are new to the system. The only thing that is going to help Kylian Mbappe right now is if Real Madrid decides that they want to keep using him on the number 9. If at all, in the absence of Fini Jr., he should still be on the number 9 position so as to get used to it. The only reason is that they don't trust Hendrick. And I've seen it a couple of times. They don't trust the likes of Hendrick. They don't trust the likes of Adagula, in which, like what I heard, they said it was the board that actually signed all those two players, that Carlo Ancelotti was not really involved in the deal. And he's not really pleased. He doesn't trust Hendrick in particular to be a starter for Real Madrid. But right now, it might be a blessing in disguise, but it's a blessing for a short time because we all know it that nobody does it like Vini Jr. We know Mbappe is Mbappe, but still,
Vini is
Jr.
Vini.
is a world of his own. Yes, so it's all the same thing.
So let's say in that Spain, we talk about your team, the Hansi Flick boys. Let me ask you one thing right now because it seems that Barcelona are running away with the title right now. They seem unstoppable with the squad that Hansi Flick has right now. Most of those kids are La Masia. They are La Masia
Yes.
graduates. You cannot really pinpoint people in the squad that are really world class players. Let me put it that way. Most of these guys are from La Masia. Would you say Hansi Flick is the best manager in the world currently, right now, with what he has at his disposal and the results that he is giving?
Hansi Flick is a very good manager, but this is just the beginning of the season, and we still have a long way to go. And right now, I won't come into conclusion. He's one of the best, if not the best right now, but I won't call him the best because we have a long way to go. We still have loads of matches to attend to.
I think
right
after the
now.
international
So
break,
after the
yeah.
international break, we can see what we have on ground. But luckily for Barcelona, most of these boys they are not starters for their team, especially the young lads in the team. But the only fear I have for Barcelona right now, as a Barcelona fan, is when those key players, because football is full of ups and downs, in which life is also full of ups and downs, because any player can get injured anytime. And we actually saw a glimpse of what can happen if one of these key players gets missing against the match with the match against Osasuna, in which most of these big boys,
Or
they are not
arrested.
on the pitch. So I think right now the team is set up, the team is okay. But what really happened right now is what will happen when we are getting into the serious business. When Barcelona starts meeting the big boys, what is going to happen? Because most of these kids they might get exhausted. They might it might be this kind of fear. I'm a young boy and
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah.
facing Bayern Munich. Is this still going to be the same story for Hansi Flick? But right now, I think what Flick should be doing right now is how they can bring one or two players to support the players. Because looking at Barcelona bench, there's absolutely nothing on the bench. When you have the first 11, we have the new boys coming in, the likes of Frankie de Jong, you have the likes of Gavi, the likes of Danny Olmo, and I'm very certain at the end of the day, when everything clicks, if you are meeting the likes of Bayern, I'm very certain most of these big boys they are going to be on the pitch. So what will happen along the line if one of these big boys gets injured and we have to go back to the bench?
Okay,
It's going to be a hard nut to crack. So I think right now, as Flick is one of the best managers, and by January we need to go out there to bring some players that can that can help the big boys when they are a bit down.
let me pick from what H2 just said and give it to you. H2, Robert Lewandowski has been on fire this season for Barca. Do you think that if Lewandowski is injured, let's just assume Lewandowski gets injured, probably maybe a few weeks injury or few months injury, do you think players like Ferran Torres and Sofati, do you think they can stand up and rise up, step into that shoe of Robert Lewandowski? Can they do the job, or if Lewandowski gets injured, that is the beginning of the end for Barca?
First of all, no one can do it like Lewan. No one can do it like Lewan in the Barcelona team in terms of the type of striker that you guys possess. Even when he was down as a last season, the goals
Were
was
coming.
still there. You understand? It might not be as Barcelona
Frequent.
fans will expect,
Yeah.
but you know he will still give you the goals. So, but one thing about Flick, I want everybody to know is from the preseason, you already know the type of manager Flick is going to be. Flick knows the condition of Barcelona. We all know Barcelona don't have that front right now to sign players. Even that almost signing, we know how it went
Yes.
eventually. So, but one thing Flick has been trying to do right from preseason, I watched their preseason games because Flick is that type of manager I've always been about. Even when he was at German, I did not make it at the German national team. I still felt Flick is a very, very dangerous manager to put in a team, especially like Barcelona that has a lot of talent. So in the preseason, you will notice that he majorly used the La Masia boys during the preseason. Even as the season went on, when they kept asking him in conference, he said he was seeing things that he could not believe he would see at La Masia. Do you understand? Gavi has not been available. It's not like he himself as the man, in as much as there's a time frame for Gavi to return. It's not like he actually know when Gavi is going to return. Same thing with Frankie de Jong. But one thing he has tried to do is, just like I mentioned as regards to, I think, Liverpool, the slot, is let's create a basis. And that was why when they lost at Monaco, and at the same time lost at, I think it was Osasuna. It wasn't really much of a surprise to me. Just like you said, there are situations where everybody will fold.
Yes.
Or maybe by the time the major boys are out of the team, the team performance drops.
All right, thank you guys for sticking around so far, so good. Football or Nothing show. We really appreciate you. If you have been enjoying the show, just like I have been enjoying the show, what I will do is I will just subscribe to the channel. If I were you right now, I'm doing that right now. I'm subscribing to the channel and tapping the bell notification icon. Remember, when you do that, you'll be notified about anything we drop on the page as well. So keep sticking around. We still have a lot of interesting topics to discuss on this show. Make sure you stick around to the very end. Thank you. Let's go back.
So one thing about Arsenal Flick, I think I mentioned it as regards to other man. I think Arne Slot is that baseline. I always want to see what can you do when the main boys are not around. And I think one thing that happened in that Osasuna match was the fact that certain players that were essential to the team, the likes of Yamal, Rafinha, were not present in that game. So the major boys are very, very important, don't get me wrong. But then again, Hansi Flick also wanted them to know that do not expect that I will use these boys all the time. In as much as I am the coach, I am also a manager. I have to manage these players so that at the end of the day, we don't start having recurring injuries in the team. So whenever Gavi comes back or Frankie de Jong decides to come back and the likes, I still feel like Hansi Flick is a manager that, regardless of how he structures or how he puts out the player, you will still see those glimpses of, okay, these boys can do this. They might not meet up. Imagine they did not meet a team like Osasuna like that day, which Osasuna did fantastically well. That is why it is always essential that in a team, Hansi Flick is always making sure that he puts in people that have that mentality. So if a Lewandowski is not in the team, it will be a big miss. While at the same time, it shouldn't be a stopper to what Barcelona can do. So I feel like in as much as the season progresses and most of the player returns,
They will be
they
better.
will gel and find solutions to major. Because remember, Lewandowski is not getting younger; he's also getting
Yes.
older. So
So
that's it.
let's talk about a manager, just like Hansi Flick, a new manager in the dugout at some point and some places in London, who is doing really well for his team. Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea boss. He came out a few days ago in a presser. He said, to get to the level of Arsenal,
Yes.
we need time.
Yes. He said.
To get to the level of City, we need time.
Yes.
I think he's working with realistic targets. The match against Nottingham Forest ended in a draw. I don't see the type of games that will tell Chelsea fans that no matter your expectation for this season, lower your expectations a bit. We are not that team yet that will just keep winning games after games after games after games. Are those the type of games that will tell Chelsea fans to lower their expectation, or it's just a one-off game? They will get better.
I think Chelsea fan doesn't need to lower their expectation because what Enzo Maresca is doing right now, it's actually look like something miraculous in front of in the face of Chelsea fan. Because going into the season and the profile of Enzo Maresca coming from Leicester City, if I'm right, from the start of the season, I believe when Maresca came, Chelsea fan didn't expect he is going to be like this. But as I always said, anything great needs a planning. It requires a planning. And so Maresca is someone that needs to have his flowers for when it comes to planning with some drastic actions, drastic decision, harsh decision he took at the beginning of the season, and which is finally paying off right now. So we should know one thing. Like you said, it took 9 years for Pep Guardiola and Man City to bring something up and to keep the team moving, like he said. And Rome was not built in a day, with like his words. Chelsea drawing to Nottingham Forest shouldn't be a debate for how is the season going to be, how everything is going to be. I think Chelsea fans should understand one thing that so far so good. This is the best they can get for now. As time goes on, things might get better. Things that are happening right now, they never expected it. Things happens for a reason. And along the line, you can't expect your team to always win. Win. Is either win or lose. And anytime the draw comes in, you should be happy because sharing 1 point is part of not getting anything at the end of the day. And the determination in which the Chelsea fans are playing with right now is top notch. Right now, Enzo Maresca are seeing those boys that are really ready to play for the team. Mikhail Modric came in yesterday. The way he moved the ball, the pace, it was very good. And even at the halftime, there was a little bit of brawl at the halftime in which the players were arguing and everything. Those are some passion. I don't think I'm never saying having a brawl in football is good, but sometimes when it happens like that, it's about the passion. Like, okay, these boys are really ready to play. They are passionate about this. They are ready to play for this manager. The vision is crystal clear. So Chelsea fan shouldn't expect like, okay, anytime they lose, maybe the clear picture is going to dim or something like that. They should expect something. It is going to take a longer process. This man has only spent 3 months with Chelsea. So we need to give him time. Winning or losing is important at this period. When it comes to a time, I'm very certain if Enzo Maresca can keep up with the pace for the next 1 or 2 seasons, things will really change for Chelsea and they will be up there. The debate about them will be up there again. But right now, win or draw, you should expect it. Sometimes it can be draw because those teams they are just trying to pick themselves up.
Okay. Just like Chelsea are doing very fine right now, H2. We have Nottingham Forest. They spent a whole lot of fortune in the past few seasons trying to bring in a lot of players. They have been so active in the transfer market, and this season, they have only lost one game this season. Should the top six teams be wary of Nottingham Forest? Should teams be scared? Is it not the right time to take them serious? Like the money that they have been investing right now, they are getting ROI, the return on investment, like businessmen we always call it. Are they getting the return on investment right now? They are getting the results. For a team of Nottingham Forest level, they have just lost just one game. And remember, they are the only one that have been able to cause upset to the league leaders, Liverpool. Should it beat top 16? Should they be wary of Nottingham Forest?
Well,
They've gotten the result against Liverpool.
yeah. It's a good thing, yeah, but there's nothing to be scared about, actually. It's a good thing that teams like that. I think they have Nuno Espirito as
Yeah,
the manager,
Espirito.
which already has that Premier League experience,
Experience.
and obviously he's faced some of these teams. Even though if it is a different manager or the like, he knows what some teams can
Knows
do
them,
to you
yeah.
and the likes. And I think one important thing about Nottingham Forest has always been their defensive discipline, which I think I saw against a Chelsea team as at their match against Chelsea. Then there are some players in that team that they are very very crucial. The likes of Jimmy Ward-Prowse and some of their defender. But one thing is that remember there's a team currently I think it's Crystal Palace as at the end of last season they are also on that kind of run with a new manager and the likes. And right now this season, I don't think they've even won a match. So one thing is that I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. When I watch teams sometimes, the thing is maybe because people see me as a United fan. If I want to banter, I'll banter. I know what I see when I see it. It might not yield results. You understand? I've seen the Nottingham difference, but then again, you kind of think, can they maintain it over the course of the season? Those are where the issue comes in. He was mentioning Maresca too. In as much as I see Maresca, as compared to Maresca, the weapon or the kind of players, the tools that Espirito possesses is not the same as a Chelsea team. Yes. In terms of, if maybe one or two injury comes in now, they will automatically have an issue. Yes. Or maybe when fatigue or the like starts, even though they are not in a lot of competitions. But then again, it's applaudable that, Nottingham Forest, but there's really nothing to be scared about. It just gives other teams that caution that if you are playing in Nottingham Forest right now, do not believe that you are going there to just casually walk them over. Yes. So, and one thing is that I think in compared to Maresca is there are a lot of factors that just determines how a manager performs in the first match. To me, when I see managers in the first 10, 20 matches, I believe yes, it's the rush for a new manager. You guys need to win, of course. It's a normal thing. In as much as you can also have it in other cases. But then again, you look at, I think as at the start of last season when Pochettino I mentioned something as regards to the only reason Chelsea were having issue is because they could not put the ball at the back of the net. Yes. Now they are putting the ball at the back of the net. And it's not surprising to me. My own is that on the long run, one thing I'm very, very worried about when it comes to Chelsea Football Club is the fact that they have a lot of players that they can always just switch around at any time. If you decide you are not picking up in a particular, another person will come in and will do the job. And that alone is a big ups for a manager, in as much as it gives headache to the manager too. So for Crystal Palace, for Nottingham Forest, in my own side, I feel like it eventually goes down to can you do it on a long run? Because that is why they call it a league. Will you be able to do it to the end of the season? Will you be at the 38th day? Will you still be the only thing that has not lost a match? Or you understand, without consistency. So I feel over the course of the season, that is what determines, and that is why I keep telling people this is still match day 6 or match day 7 or the likes. Eventually, we will know how the structure of the league comes in, maybe December or no. But then again, kudos to them for what they've done so far.
So those are for the managers in the dugouts. Let me put you gentlemen who are on the hot seat right now on the spot, and that is for the normal start one, bench one, sell one. If you have been watching this show for a long time right now, you know that whenever people are on the show here, we ask them questions. If they are the manager, we have managers, but these guys now are supposed managers. So I'm going to be asking them
Erik substitute.
So if you are a manager, you have 3 good strikers at your disposal. I'm talking about Romelu Lukaku, Victor Osimhen, and Dusan Vlahovic. You have to start one of them, you have to bench one of them, and you have to call one of them to the office. Hey, listen, bro, pack your bags, leave my team. Hey, Trip, let me start with you. Romelu Lukaku, Victor Osimhen, Dusan Vlahovic.
Right now,
I,
I feel like you're putting me
I,
on the
I can
spot.
read I can read his answers, but be careful with your words.
What happened is that with my definition of a good player, one thing about me is if I'm a manager, I love something called consistency. I don't want a player whereby he plays today, tomorrow he is someone else, which is the likes of Romelu Lukaku. So the likes of Victor Osimhen, he has this kind of consistency. Though sometimes in front of the goal, sometimes he has issues with one-on-one when converting the goals. But still on still, I'll put Victor Osimhen out there because I love his work rate.
So you are starting Victor Osimhen.
I'm starting Victor
Who are you
Osimhen.
throwing on the bench?
I'll put
Nigeria to the world.
the likes of Villarreal. He's a good player. He's a good free kick taker, and consistency wise, he is not. Look, Romelu Lukaku is not a consistent striker. I'll sell Romelu Lukaku and put Vlahovic on the bench.
Oof.
You have to remember, you got to remember this is the same Romelu Lukaku that Antonio Conte wanted so bad, and he's proving his worth for Conte right now.
We all know Conte is an old-fashioned manager, and anybody that loves consistency in the world of football won't choose a Romelu Lukaku because we know he is not consistent.
So you are starting Osimhen.
I'm starting Osimhen,
Vlahovic on the bench,
and I'll sell
and
Lukaku back to Conte.
Lukaku can go to his Conte. Okay, H2O, I think maybe you have a contrary opinion. Let's hear from you.
All right. You see, one thing is, you see that Romelu Lukaku. In terms of, okay, maybe I don't even know how to put it. But you see, Romelu Lukaku is one player where I feel like, as a player, if you have a weakness, you should learn how to work on it. Yes, I know you can score goals. I know, yeah, he's always there. You understand? He has played for Manchester United, and I know what I saw at Manchester United.
First touch.
Don't mention it. Don't mention it. He's that kind of player where sometimes you see him and you be like, wow. Another minute you just be like, really?
So why they talk about consistency?
So I don't know, but then again, for me, it's also between but then again, in terms of goals, I need a striker. You need to put the ball at the back of the net. I think these three players does that very well, regardless of whether they have bad touch or the likes, but they still do that very well. But then again, I'm quite in a dilemma as to who I should place first and who I'm selling. Vlahovic is a very, very good striker. A very, very good striker.
Yes.
But then again, my countryman is so important to me. I think I've been fighting that battle for like ages. You people don't rate my countryman, and I always want to put it out there. Victor Osimhen is very, very important.
Very important.
No matter how we try to put it. The only reason why we are seeing him this way is because, see, Romelu Lukaku is highly rated, but you don't rate Osimhen. Then how are you doing the comparison? You understand? So you want the Lukaku, you don't want an Osimhen. So he's always mixed up. So for me, I want to go for Vlahovic as a 0.9 in terms of what he gives to the team. But then again, I feel like any team that has a Victor Osimhen has something to offer in terms of goals, in terms of team. I think I'll put a Victor Osimhen ahead. I don't really have a different opinion as compared to A-Trips over here because I'm definitely selling Lukaku. And it's not because he's not that good or he does not deliver goal.
Do you remember this Victor Osimhen is not always consistent? He's not always.
Yeah, in terms of availability, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if I'm putting Osimhen first or Vlahovic first.
So who are you starting?
That is where the issue comes. But in terms of if everybody is available, I'll still go with the Victor Osimhen.
So you are starting Victor Osimhen. Who's on your bench?
Vlahovic gives me another angle for a type of striker, and I'm definitely selling Lukaku.
Why is everybody selling Romelu Lukaku?
You see, me as a person,
why is everybody selling
one of the reasons why I'll sell Lukaku is that guy has put on call it bias. He has put on a United shirt. He gave us goals. I won't lie.
Yes.
But there's just something I just look at Lukaku. When Chelsea,
are you watching Lukaku calling Serie A for Antonio?
Let me tell you something. Chelsea has a Nicolas Jackson, and they are fully aware that Lukaku is still their player.
Yes.
They still decided that they prefer to stay with a Jackson. Do you know what it takes for teams? That's why I said, me as a United player, Lukaku has played for me. Let me give you one scenario. When I was in school, I had a friend that is a Chelsea fan, even till now. That time they got Morata, we got Lukaku. We were hyping our Lukaku, they were hyping the Morata. Eventually, when Chelsea got Lukaku, I told that my friend, I said, if Lukaku have not played for United, I would not have had an opinion. But for the fact that he has played for United and I have seen what he can do, Chelsea fans don't rate this guy.
All right, this has been a very exciting episode of Football or Nothing. As usual, I enjoyed myself and my two guests on the show today. In fact, they have given us a lot of us topics to deliberate on. He said Erik is not fit enough to be the Manchester United boss, and on the other hand, there on my left hand side here, he said Bukayo Saka is not a world class player. I'm sure you guys know what to do in the comment section for them. I really enjoyed myself. And till we see you guys on the next episode of Football or Nothing, make sure you keep subscribing to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Football or Nothing. If you're on any social media platform, kindly subscribe to Football or Nothing. You will see all the social media handles in the description of this video. Make sure you tap the social media handle to follow us across all social media platforms. H2O, thank you very much for being on the show
It's nice
today.
being here again.
Uh, Saka
Talking
is
about football, enjoying football.
Saka is not world class player.
I'm making sure Arsenal fans are always on their feet.
The still we never forget about that. And Erik, thank you very much for being on the
You're
show.
welcome. I'm always one call away.
I'm sure Erik will hate you right now. If he has any family member,
I hope he lets the hand with.
you don't want him to hit again. When he gets what do you expect me to hit? And I'm your humble host. My name is Kenny. Till I see you guys on the next episode of Football or Nothing, you guys should stay very cool.